One more time. 3, 2, 1. Did it.
Double sync.
Double sync. Because we're professionals.
Oh, for sure. 100%. We
Yeah.
know exactly what we're doing all the time.
All the time. A little bit of everything all the time. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the InfoDumpster. I'm ND Bumblebee, your host, and with me is a lovely guest, SuperSeizer.
Hello, it's me!
It's you! Yay, we're finally doing this. Oh my god, yes, I am a goof. That is confirmed. Thanks, chat. I appreciate it. But yeah, for the purposes of the recording, since we did this in pre-show, while chat was waiting, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, hello. My name is Caesar, and I am a Twitch streamer, and I just like to play video games, kind of just like chill. And I'm also a video editor, so I like technical audio visual stuff, the whole like 9. I'm also like ADHD and like dyslexic and everything, so
Yeah,
I have problems.
Don't we all? Don't we all?
We do.
Yeah, we all have our problems, but that's okay. And yeah, I would say like check out their audio stuff. It's fantastic. And or their video editing is chef's kiss.
Thank you.
It is. It's really good. I love the timing that you have with all, even like in live stream, just all the jump cuts and all that. I'm like, I am slightly envious, but also inspired.
Oh.
I love it. It's like with time.
I'm glad.
With time,
Yeah.
I will get there too.
Exactly. With practice of pressing buttons very vigorously.
Yes, because you know how else do you get things done? But yeah. So you said like ADHD and dyslexic. Like, is that self-diagnosed or is that like officially diagnosed? You don't have to share
It's,
either way, but
Oh yeah, it's self-diagnosed because I just don't have like the means and like the not even that's not requirements is not the word. It's the tools and the things available to me to actually get officially diagnosed for these things. But I researched both of them very heavily enough to like safely be like self-diagnosed. Like I fit these bricks pretty well, so I
yeah, that like not having the resources for it, but at the same time, like I feel like this is a common self-diagnosis experience, and I speak a little from experience on this, where you just research into it super heavily. Which is one reason why some people argue, like, oh, self-diagnosis is not valid. But in actuality, like, it's been heavily researched by the person in question. And it's like, but I actually have evidence and experiences that suggest this?
Yeah, like my entire childhood that I somehow don't remember.
Whoa!
Crazy!
Thanks, childhood trauma.
Exactly.
Yeah.
My coping mechanisms.
I know. It's like, if anyone who says self-diagnosis isn't valid, it's like, I would say if they heavily researched it, absolutely.
Yeah.
But if it's someone
also,
just like, I'm a little OCD.
Yeah, or like everyone's a little ADHD, you know?
Or
like,
everyone's a little autistic, everyone's a little bipolar, and I'm like, honey, no.
No, exactly. Like,
it's like, we can make
stay in your lane.
Yeah, it's like, come on. That just, you know, but yeah, like, is it more of like locally you don't have the, like, the resources or the, availability of like getting that, or is it like a barrier with just actually I guess what I'm trying to ask is have you ever actively seeked it out but then ran into like barriers from the whomever it may be.
I personally would love to like get an assessment for
Oh, hold on.
being.
My partner chimed in with something real quick. What were you saying? Anyway, sorry, Caesar. What were you saying?
I was saying that I would love to be like officially or like assessed for the things that I self-diagnose myself for. I just don't have like the I haven't like actively reached out because of like family
Mhm.
reasons. Um, I think like my family doesn't like they view disability as like a really like physical thing. Like if you're not like physically disabled, then like you're not, or like if you're disabled mentally, then you're like it's just like something's wrong with your brain and like you're dumb and like
Like you're a
there's
kid.
no way I'm gonna let my child be like medically diagnosed as dumb, like.
Yeah, and that's another thing I've noticed. Like, a lot of people may have that situation where they just don't want to accept it. Like, as a family, like, they don't want to accept, like, um, that their kid is disabled in some fashion when it's not as bad as they think it is.
Yeah, like they view it as such like a horrible thing. It's like gonna like set, or it's like it's gonna like ruin their lives and everything.
Yeah. When it's like, it's just, you just gotta learn how to work with it. It is what it is. You're like, you got the cards that you're dealt with.
Yeah.
The way my partner just put it is, kids are not fucking purse dogs.
Yeah.
And speaking of purse dogs of some kind, we have a special appearance from my kitten.
Aw, what a cute little lad.
She's a little bean. She's full of beans. And you have a cat too, right?
Toby. I do. His name is Cookie. He's
Aw.
like he's not a kitten anymore. He's a full-on cat.
Yeah.
He's actually old enough to become the president, so
Oh my god.
Cookie 2024 is happening.
Yeah,
Everyone.
Cookie 2024 for president. There we go.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
The best of ours.
Exactly. He's very old.
Yeah,
Well,
no.
not old, but he's old enough.
Yeah, Penelope is baby. Like, actual baby. She's like 3 months old now. And she already knocked over my milkshake today. So she's testing. Boundaries right now are just, full of beans.
Oh.
But that's what kittens do.
So true.
Yeah.
They do like to see how far the line is.
Oh yeah, she's constantly testing that. Well, when she's like not sleeping on the couch or something. It's like kittens have two speeds: zoomies and mischief, and then sleep.
Oh yeah.
There's no in between.
There isn't. They can be really like calm and chill, and then the second their eyes just like dilate and everything, they're like, I think you're an enemy.
Yeah, just like, I'm going to pounce on whatever it is I'm focused on. Now that we know a little bit more about the world of SuperSeizer, what are you going to throw into the dumpster, if you will? What are you going to throw into the InfoDumpster?
I think we can just throw in some of like my special interests of like maybe like a like favorite TV shows, or like I would love to talk about like video editing.
Oh hell yeah. Go for it. Like, hey, listen, the floor is yours with whatever topic you would like to dump about.
I usually need like a thing to go off of.
Yeah, so you were saying video editing.
Was there anything you want to to ask about for like a special interest or anything?
So, well, I guess first of all, what would you consider like special interests of yours?
Oh well, I think a more recent one is like my favorite TV show right now. I don't know if you know, it's called The Owl House.
I've heard of The Owl House, but I actually know nothing about it.
It is godsend. Honestly, such a great show. I don't say that about a lot of things, but like, listen. Anyway, but I mean, another like special interest of mine is like, but like for as long as I can possibly remember, is like cameras and like videography and everything.
Like
And I
just
think that's where
just
that like
cameras.
like cameras and like being behind the camera. You know how it's like, oh, I want to be an actor when I grow up, but
Yeah.
it's like that, but like not me in front of it, but me behind it. You know, me like seeing all like the boom mics and the
Yeah.
like huge like red cameras that they use on these giant things that like move and capture like
Oh yeah, like
motion.
I think it's a jib.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever worked on a film set before?
No, I haven't actually, which
Oh,
I'm like trying to see if I can like
I need to
get
change
like
that.
an internship or something.
Yeah, we need to
Like,
change. If you're in New York City at all, we need to change that. There's like paid background work and like paid extra and like get some work as a PA or something like that. That's supposed to be the way to
yeah.
start off. And then it's just like you get the whole experience of like, all right, quiet on the set.
Yeah, that would be so cool though.
Yeah.
To like work on set. Like,
If for
see.
some reason you're in the city, let me know and I'll let you know if there's any like paid audience work or something so that at least you could be on the set.
Oh my god, I would love that. I'll see if I could like if I'm ever in town and anything, because I used to like live in New York City,
Oh
but
really?
yeah, well, not New York proper, like in like Brooklyn and in like Jersey.
Yeah.
Like I was just like a drive away.
Give me 1 sec. I'm still listening, and chat is hopefully still listening. But continue your story. I'm just gonna close the door over here real quick.
Of course. Anyway, I forget what I was saying, so I'm gonna go on a different thing.
New York City.
Oh, New York City. Oh yeah, I used to live in New York City like up until like 2018, and we like moved down to like the deep south.
Oh god.
We're southern now.
Like, are we talking like Bible Belt?
No, we're talking like we're talking deep south, like Texas south, like south midwestern. No, mid southern. Wait, Texas is like in the middle, so
Yeah,
I don't
Texas
really
is
know.
in the middle. It's
Yeah, so
technically
it's like,
south.
yeah, but like technically I went southwest because I used to live in northeast, so
Yeah. So like, you're south. I think
yeah,
most
I'm
people call Texas the South.
yeah, we're the really big south with the big finger and
Mm-hmm.
the heat and the Republicans.
Oh god, I don't envy you in this time
No,
that we live in.
I don't envy me.
Oh no, that's a whole other conversation.
We can't.
We don't have to get into that right now, but that
It's
is another
controversial.
oh no, controversial as human rights are controversial?
Yeah.
Oh no. But anyway, before we get too distracted, you were talking about cameras and videography. Like, are there what are you called? Like, I guess what got you interested in what made that sort of thing become like a special interest to you?
I think it like started. It's really wild, because when I like actually like think back to when it started being like, oh, cameras, because I don't think that I used to be like super all into cameras up until like a certain point. So I think it's got to be when I was like, oh, I want to like record stuff. So, and then it was when that like kind of like rolled off and kicked off. I was like, bro, cameras are super dope. Like, I remember like so many like YouTube videos on like so many different cameras. You don't even know, before I got this camera, I like for like, I think more than like 10 years, I think. I have been like super close to like making the big purchase to like buying a camera, but then like something like stopped me, pulled me out, something. Like I have like a list of like all the cameras I was like about to buy. Like I was gonna buy this like Canon camcorder this one time, and then I didn't. And then I was wanting to buy the Canon M50 for like multiple times, like after watching like 17, like all the possible YouTube videos that you could possibly watch on the dang thing. Like I was like, this is a great camera. I can like go out and like film. It's gonna be great. And then for some reason I just didn't buy it. I just didn't get it. Like same thing for like any Sony A series camera that I kept like seeing and like constantly watching about, to the point where like I know like all the specs and like all the like the how many megapixels the camera is, and like how many points of like focus there is and on the screen and everything. So it's a very like deep in there.
Yeah, it's like very, it's got its roots in you, like down to the core of SuperSeizer.
It's got its meaty claws in me.
Meaty claws.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I can imagine like that. What you were talking about made me think of like anytime, like anyone who knows Crank gameplays, like might have seen or noticed that he really loves talking about film and cameras and like recording and stuff like that, and like that kind of made me think of and maybe you've seen this too, where he just talks about like all the different cameras that he has.
Yeah, it's honestly really really chill and enlightening.
Yeah.
To like hear about like someone else also talking about like your special interests and like what kind of different equipment that he has that you could reasonably never afford, but you know, it's good to hear someone talk about it.
Exactly. It's just like, okay, good. Yeah. And I also, I don't know why this made me think of this, but right now I'm like, oh, there's background music that Streamlabs is picking up. And then there is the audio, and I'm like, oh shoot, it's running through the same audio. That's gonna make editing impossible. It's like, just put the whole VOD up, it's fine. Like,
oh yeah, just put the whole pre-show too.
Yeah, it's like maybe cut
half
the
your camera, you're like split in half like a moon.
Maybe like cut the pre-show.
Hello!
They're digging the pre-show, by the way, so we're doing something right.
Oh yes, I'm glad.
Yes, we're doing our best.
We are,
and that is all we can ask for. And
I'll be asking the questions.
Oh God. And I will be answering the questions.
Oh yeah, I don't have any, but you know, where were you the night of the bank robbery?
I plead the fifth.
My partner is gonna make you talk. We can good guy, bad guy this all day.
Just like cut the pre-show and then just put the VOD up, because like I was going back and forth on deciding like whether to edit down to like whatever or like just put the whole damn VOD up. Is like, you know what, for this one let's just put the VOD up.
Yeah, you know, honestly, it's the first episode. It's okay for it to be just a little bit scuffed.
Exactly. It's like I said, when I said that it would be possible chaos, I wasn't kidding. But that's always how it is. But do you have like a particular you were mentioning a couple of them. I can't remember the names right now of the cameras, but do you have a current favorite?
I think a current favorite is actually, it's interesting because it really depends on like the type of lens we're using with the camera, because I like mirrorless cameras. So mirrorless cameras don't have the like giant mirror that like reflects off of the lens to the capsule that like
Okay.
gives the image. So uh basically like honestly, I really like Sony cameras. Like the Sony A series, I think, um, is a great line with like great features, and like their autofocus is great. Although Canon's color theory is really good, Sony's color theory, like nowadays, is like really like on par. But I think like one of my favorite things about different lenses with like camera bodies is like the bokeh effect. So basically like this smooth like blurry background is like one of my favorite things in cameras. So any like any Sony camera with like a a lens that has a low aperture, so lets in a lot of light,
Mm-hmm.
uh that makes that like like buttery smooth like blurry background is like, oh, mwah,
Yes.
delicious. I could eat that up, dude.
Now, when you say a mirrorless lens, like, what's the difference in the lenses, like, between a mirrored lens and a mirrorless lens? Like, how does that affect the film quality?
So it just like mirrorless cameras are actually like lighter. I'm like 99% sure because there isn't that like giant mechanism in there. So basically like with a DSLR there's like a bunch of mirrors inside the camera. And that's why mirrorless cameras could be smaller than DSLRs, like way smaller, because it doesn't have that giant mechanism of like. So basically, how it works is so the light hits the lens goes through, right, and then there's like a bunch of mirrors, and then like pops off those mirrors, and then it goes into the camera body, hops off those mirrors, and then that's how it hits the the viewfinder.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's how you can see the image through the viewfinder most of the time.
Okay.
So basically mirrorless cameras are just like lighter, and i I'm assuming it works faster than like obviously speed of light is the speed of light, it's fastest thing ever,
Yeah.
but
It's
bouncing off all those mirrors sure takes a lot of time.
yeah. I mean, Sonic is like a close second, unless they actually prove that
Oh yeah,
it's
yeah,
different.
yeah. I mean, I don't know, I've never seen a race between Sonic and light and the speed of light, so
That was just like that's the next if anyone like does that, that'd be kind of amazing. I'm sure
oh
I'm sure I don't know if it's Rooster Teeth that does death battle videos with like different characters. Maybe they figured out that like how fast Sonic moves or have like an estimate. But apparently Eggman is also super fast. That's what I found out.
oh yeah.
But like an example of a mirrorless camera, I was thinking like GoPros, would that count?
um GoPros, I feel like, are more like point and shoot, which I don't know if they're mirrorless or not. Like I
Okay.
know there's a lot of like point, like the GoPros have built-in lenses.
Mhm.
So if I haven't really done a lot of research on like built-in lenses, I'm
Mhm.
assuming they probably have their own like miniature mirror system, maybe. I think it would work the same way if like how like our phones kind of work,
Okay.
or in our cameras, in our phones.
Okay. And now, when you're looking into a camera that you would want to use, like, obviously, from my understanding, you want to look into different features depending on if you want to do photography or video, because, like, those would be two different things, I
Yeah,
imagine. You, from what I understand, you seem to lean more towards the video end of cameras. Is
I
that correct?
do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then, like,
like
um, I guess, would you know like a difference between um what someone might look for more in like a video of camera specifically made like it could take photos theoretically, but video is even better.
Oh yeah, like I think it depends on like what you're looking for in a camera. Like obviously you probably wouldn't care about like its recording resolution. Like, oh, it can record 4K and like 60 frames per second. And, you wouldn't care about that as much because you'll be taking like stills with it. So you'd probably care a lot about like the sensor size and like the picture profiles is well, picture profiles are mainly for video. Like if you've ever heard of like S-Log3 and everything, like
I'm not sure if I
makes
have.
the so this is like my camera's like on auto exposure and everything and
Mhm.
auto picture profile, but if it was on like S-Log3 or something, it would be like really like gray. So it's like it really opens up like the dynamic range for you to like throw it into like Premiere or an editing software to like add your own color the way that you want to, than to like just put it in like this and try to like color grade it this way, so like the darks are like really dark and then like everything would be all out of balance.
So like that's
But
going
you could
into.
also
Oh, that's sorry. That's even going into like color correction. Like, what do you want to do as far as color correction is concerned?
yeah.
Okay. Anyway, continue. Sorry, I realized I was cutting you off. I'm like, ha!
Oh yeah, no problem. But it's all about like what you want to use in a camera. Like obviously like when you're taking photography, and it also depends on like what your subject is. Like if it's like portraits or macro, those are all stuff to like consider. Like if you're doing a lot of outdoor stuff, a viewfinder is really really helpful because I've taken this camera. This one doesn't have a viewfinder because it's mostly like a video camera. So I've taken this camera out to go take pictures, and you know the death sun, you know, on this screen is just not. I can't see a thing, dude. So a viewfinder would have been really helpful, but to be honest, if it's a good video camera, it probably takes pretty like really good stills still.
Yeah. Maybe that's what, because I recently have done like Renaissance fair work, and I would see photographers like all the time. There's one photographer I've met who his photos are like fantastic. I'll actually have to see if I can send you some examples of that, but he also does video, and for some reason, it's like equally, if not just as, it's like just as good. And I'm like, how? But he also, I don't know if he shoots in slow motion or he films and then puts it in slow motion in editing, but it's really good. Let me see if I can find it. Might cut off the cameras for a second, but actually no, you know what? If I can send it through Discord, I can do it on my phone. Oh my god, I'm a genius.
Big brain.
Big brain. As the gamers would say.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, so I sent that to you. I'll show it in the camera so chat can see it too. And maybe you can see it too, but this is the phone picture, but the actual photo is way better. Because my camera cannot.
Look at those bright reds.
Yeah. Well, that's also his costume, but the color correction is dope.
Yeah, it's really like brings a punch.
Yeah, and
the eye.
I love how he works with the colors. This is another good one. He has some bangers. He also does make a lot of memes. Like even this one.
I love a meme lord.
Like the pinks on this one, it's so nice.
Yeah.
I'll send that one to you too, just so that you have a better look at it. 'Cause I can show it on my phone, but this camera is not exactly the most friendly to that sort of thing.
I don't like it when a camera doesn't focus. It's like my least favorite thing.
It sucks, especially when you turn on the autofocus and it can't decide what to focus on. Just
Literally,
like,
and then you have to become like a makeup guru and have your hand behind it
oh
and be
my,
like, "Oh my god, this is my new eyeliner. I got it from Chanel the other
yes.
day."
Oh my god. And then I'll send you one of the memes. Um, just trying to see if I can find one that doesn't require a ton of context. Um, 'Cause some of it is like you had to be there for it. But all right, this one's actually pretty good. I'll send that one to you. Hang on. Hold. What are your orders?
Holding.
Hold. Okay, I sent it to you, but and I'll read it out what it says. Just in case, like, for anyone in chat that can't read it, it says Bone Crushers really were like, that's my little emotional support silly guy. Which is true. He was basically like our little emotional support silly guy.
It looks like like role playing or like LARPing kind of.
It sort of is. Like, Ren Fair work is kind of like that. There are sword fights sometimes. I have not done any sword fights. Yeah, there's swords. One of them fought with fans. It was really cool.
Fans?
And, yeah,
it's like a
fans.
real life Street Fighter.
Yeah. And the pirate crew I was in was basically like a group of WWE wrestlers.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So we were just loud and obnoxious and we fight with our fists.
You're all brutes.
Yeah. So I imagine you would do this. You record video and audio more or less separately, right?
Oh yeah, well, usually video and audio probably are like separate, but like if I'm doing like 2 audio sources, it's usually like separate. So
yeah,
I can manipulate one over the other without affecting the other one.
Like, you can pick the one that's better.
Yeah.
Yeah, so your editing stuff is usually in video?
Yeah, it's usually video. I mean, sometimes like I do audio like changes, but it's not like the staple of like what I do.
Yeah. I also realize I should probably ask, was there anything else you wanted to say about cameras and like film work or something like that that you wanted to share upon the people before we get sidetracked and moved on to another like interest?
Oh no. I mean, there's nothing else I really would like to share about cameras other than like technical stuff.
Of course.
But like honestly, I love because I filmed a lot. I love filming like short films, like also like silent short films. So basically, you tell a story without even like saying a word. So each shot is really like dedicated to telling a narrative that you've written and storyboarded. But it's honestly, I think I find it like great, like setting up each shot and like taking multiple takes and doing that. So just filming is just really nice.
It is. I can confirm it's really fun. I used to do like short. I had friends when I was in acting school that would do like short sketches. Like he was already doing them with his friends like all the time. So when it came to like our we had a comedy class. No, not a comedy class. A web series class where we actually made like videos of different assignments. So one, like, we picked a particular genre, or one we had to include a certain item in the story, and all of them could either be like a web series that we were creating or just different videos. And I remember doing some of those with like various people I knew from the school, and I remember having a lot of fun with it, like both on the acting side and on the editing side and like behind the scenes stuff. It was really fun.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of films or short films, like, what do you lean towards, like, a particular genre, or is it more of just, this is an idea I had, I want to put it out there?
It's mostly just, like, an idea I had, and I'm like, "Well, this is an idea," and the thing is that when I have, like, a central idea, I am like, "Oh, this is a good idea," and then I, like, keep, like, revving on the idea, and then I have to act on the idea.
Because otherwise
It's
it's just
kinda
gonna
funny.
it's gonna sit there.
Oh, yeah, and then it's, like, gonna just fester there, or I just forget about it, and then I need to think about it, like, later, and then I'm like, "Oh, shit, it's gone." But most of the time, like, I would have an idea, and then I have, like, the beginning moments of the idea, and they're really good beginning moments, and then I do the beginning moments, and then, like, I'm in the middle, like, that's why a lot of, like, ideas, like, go like this, is because, like, in the middle, I'm like, "Okay, I need to, like, flesh this out," and then I don't have the means right then and there to flesh it out properly, and then I'm like, "Oh, snap. I'll think about this later."
Yeah,
And then
no,
that's where it, like, goes away.
I relate to that very heavily, and I'm sure quite a few people in chat do too. Um, yeah, is that like, would you feel that's a common neurodivergent experience of just having the ideas and then either if you don't act on it, you just throw it to the side and then you're like, wait, it gets lost?
Yeah, I think it's one of those things um, where it's kinda similar to, like, where you see something cool and then you try it, and then, like, if you're not, like, immediately good at it, you're like, "I don't like it anymore. It's
Yeah.
dead to me."
Like,
It's
no.
kinda like the same thing where, like, you have an idea and then, like, you end up, like, for whatever reason, like, not having the time to work on it. It's like, "Oh, well, I waited this long to, like, try and work on it," then, like,
Or like
it's lost
you
now.
get tired of like trying to flesh it out and you're just like, nah.
Yeah, like, the ideas didn't flow the way they used to, so I'm giving up on it all.
Yeah, just like no more. I'm done. I'm bored.
Yeah, so I think it's something that happens to me, like, a lot, so it kind of just, like it gets me upset sometimes because I know when I do it, but I can't, like, stop myself because it's like,
Yeah.
like,
It's
it's like that, like, other voice in your head that's like, "Oh, you'll do it later," like, that procrastinating voice.
yes.
It's always a whiny voice too.
Oh
It's
my
like, "You'll
god.
do it later." Like, just don't take a break. It's gonna
Yeah,
be
like take a
cool.
nap. It's fine.
Yeah, like, take a nap. It's only gonna last an hour, and then you wake up at, like, 4 in the morning.
Mm. I have to set alarms for myself anytime I take a nap. And then sometimes I
Honestly
go a little further than that.
honestly, this is why I can't even, like, have an alarm anymore. Like, it's like, I have an alarm. The thing is that if I don't have anything important, like, sometimes, like, I'll set alarms to be like, "Oh, I'm gonna wake up early and, like, fix my sleep schedule." But that's not a good enough, like, important reason to, like, for me to get out of bed.
Nope.
Like,
It
I'll
never
just
is.
snooze it and go back to sleep. So,
Yep. Yep, yep,
but
yep.
unless there's something, like, important, like, if I don't do this, then I'm like, I'm gonna get fucked. Like, that's, like, the type of motivation I need. Like, when you wake up and you look at the time and you're late and then
Yes.
you, like, rush out of bed. That's, like, the type of motivation I need every day. Like, I don't care if I have to trick my mind to do it, set the clock on my phone, like, actually different. So when I wake up and it's like, "Oh, I'm awake," and then, like, it, like, reads 10, but I was supposed to be out the door at 8, I'd be like, "Oh
Oh
my
my god! Like
god!"
no. Yeah,
But it's actually, like, 7 real time, like
yeah, I actually I have a watch that I wear. I usually set it like a couple minutes behind at least, so that way like if my brain forgets that I did that, then it's like, oh, I actually will be on time. Like my phone has the actual time always. But if I look at my watch and it's like, "Oh, it's this time and I got to do it." And then I get there, I'm like, "Oh, wait, actually, oh yeah, that's right. I set it back a little bit. I'm actually on time." Like we have to trick
Yeah.
ourselves into doing it.
It's like extreme daylight savings, you know?
Mhm. Like we have to trick ourselves into doing it. And then like
Yeah.
that made me think of what you said about, you have the ideas and you want to like get it out there, because if you don't get it out there, it ain't gonna happen. So you have to like, well, I guess this is what I'm doing right now.
Yeah. And that's why I like all the time do things on impulse. I think like this is like a prime example of this is like my stream. People in my community will definitely know that like a lot of times, like if I just have an idea, I'll like film it and I will push stream back so I can film it, edit it, and like play it a video before stream, to the point where I've done it so often like that everyone doesn't trust if the beginning of stream is actually me or not.
Oh,
Like
no.
there's like so many times where I'm just like getting ready for stream, or I'm just like sitting here and like I could be doing something like something so like I could be writing a paper or something, and then I'll just have the idea to like eat a banana. Just eat a banana. Like just stare into the camera and eat a banana. And then I'll just do it. Because it's like I just think it's so funny. And like if I don't do it right now, then I'm gonna not do it. Or someone's gonna eat the banana and then I can't do it. But either way, I have to do it. So that's why a lot of times I do so much things on impulse, because like honestly, you only live once. Like honestly, when else are you gonna like eat a banana?
When are
you
you
know,
gonna eat
like
that banana?
exactly. And it's the same way of how I justify impulse purchasing, because a lot of times I don't even think twice. Like I'm just like, money's money, guys. Like
Yeah.
I can only have this one shirt. I I can always make another dollar. Like, and that's why I like a lot of times without action, I just like spend money, and it's really bad because like, you know, rent and everything. You know,
Yeah, like rent and bills. Like who needs to pay that in this economy, right?
so true.
Oh my gosh. And I imagine like living in Texas is it cheap? This is a curiosity question. Is it cheaper than living in New York?
It is to a point. Like I think like houses are less expensive because there isn't any like, because obviously like every state has like different taxing things.
Yeah.
I don't think Texas has like income tax, so technically everyone's richer a little bit, I guess, because there's no like income tax, I guess, but like property tax, they make up for it somehow,
Yeah, they do.
somewhere.
There's always the
Um,
pros and cons, you know?
yeah, but like some stuff is like a little cheaper. I don't know about nowadays because like, we've been in a panini press, and
Yeah.
gas is like $5 a gallon
It's
now.
this is one of the reasons I'm happy that I don't drive.
Oh yeah. Honestly, I think like the main difference between like Texas and New York is that New York is like great for public transportation. Like there's
Oh, it
subway and
when you're in the
bus and
city, absolutely. When you're in upstate, it's a dice roll.
oh, gotcha.
At least from
Because like
the bits that
here,
I've been to.
it's like you can't find a bus unless you're like like in central like city.
Yeah.
Like so if you're like in a city that's like branching off of like the same city, like there's like no buses, it's like only cars, and like everything's like it looks close, like the walk's close, but like in
Yeah.
this heat, like everything's far.
And is it usually like dry or humid over there?
It's oh my god, it's honestly, I don't know if dry heat or humid heat is better, because I was in Vegas for a little bit for like a family thing. And Vegas is like really hot, but it's not like humid heat, it's like dry heat. So I've like experienced both sides of the coin recently. So when you're outside in like Nevada, like the sun is like like if you're in a convection oven
Yeah.
and the sun is like on you, like it burns, like you can like feel it burning, like it's like your skin cells are dying. You can hear them screaming. And then when you're here, the humidity like brings it up like 10 degrees. So it's
Yeah.
almost like when you go outside, it's almost like you're walking in like this like molasses soup. So
Yeah.
it's like hot and like sticky, and
Yes.
I mean, I guess you're not like dry, like, but you're hot, you're
But
sticky,
you
and it's
feel
just not a great
disgusting.
experience.
It's like, I need like
Yeah,
5 showers after this.
exactly. And honestly, it's not great that the humidity itself like bumps it up like 10 degrees. So if it's like, oh, today's gonna be like 100 degrees, and then it's like feels like 110 and just like punches you in
It's
the
like,
face.
I'm gonna die.
Exactly. And that's why
Yeah.
I am so glad for air conditioning, you know?
Yes.
Whoever invented it, you are God itself, I think.
I would, yeah, because like I had a sister who lived in New Mexico a while back, and she also had lived in Colorado. I visited both at some point in my life. Um, I mean, with Colorado, it was a little different because where we were was like 7 to 8,000 feet above sea level. So not only was it like drier heat, it was also lower oxygen levels than what you would get at sea level, I guess. So avoiding altitude sickness was interesting.
Why?
Thankfully, I didn't have to deal with that, but I narrowly avoided it because I nearly knocked the wind out of myself by being more active than I probably should have as someone who's not used to that amount of oxygen
Yeah.
um, being away. But I noticed there and New Mexico, like it was hot, but it wasn't as sticky as it was over here.
Yeah.
But I also remember, like, in New Mexico, because I visited during the winter, or like late fall. It was still like AC was my friend.
Yeah.
And I think Colorado was in the summer, but even there too, I was like, yes, AC.
Yeah.
I'm used to sticky heat. It's like that even in the city. It's gross.
Yeah, it's like, ugh.
But
I mean, at least you're like, because when I was like the short time I was in Nevada, like your skin gets like dry, like it's like sand like is in the air or something, and
yeah,
it's just like your whole skin crackly.
it's like
Um.
Anakin Skywalker would hate it there.
Oh yeah.
You would feel like
You know.
sand.
You would.
Um,
You would. Honestly.
yeah. Was there so you get into like, are you interested in being a cinematographer as someone who's really into video?
I would love to like, well, as like a video editor, I would love to like help edit a movie. Like, that would be really cool. Although, like, I would love to like, I think one of my, like, I don't think I'm very good like in front of a camera to like act, because I don't think I'm a great actor. But I think like as a voice actor, I think like that's something that I'm like super interested in as well, like voice acting. Like, although I like a lot of times I don't feel like I have like the voice to be like a cartoon character or an animated character.
Right.
But I think that's like like that's the only like way that I would like to be in front of the camera.
Yeah. I mean, you can also, the beautiful thing about voiceover work is that it's not just cartoon characters. Technically, you can get work in like commercials and stuff like that. Maybe you could be the person who's like, side effects may include.
Oh yeah. And I say that really fast.
Yeah. It's like it almost always has to end in dry mouth and constipation.
Oh yeah.
It's like, talk to your doctor if you experience
9 out of 10 dentists recommend.
Yes, like you could do that type of stuff. So like that's one of the beautiful things, is that it's also, maybe you could be the next like this summer.
Oh,
2
yeah.
men, 1 potato. Like, there's that too. Like, if you did get, so you see, like, if you got into that sort of stuff, you'd be more of like an editor rather than like a director of photography or something like that.
Yeah. Like, honestly, I see myself more as like an editor
Yeah.
than like a director or like a cameraman.
Yeah. Like, are you thinking, would it be more like general film editing or like even video effects or like green screen work, stuff like that?
I think it's like a general thing. Like, I like to be a jack of all trades editor. Like, although I would love to like make like effects. Like, again, I don't really know. I've never really made like special effects. I'm assuming you probably do them in After Effects, but I don't really use After Effects because After Effects is scary. So
Yeah, that's something
so
like
I just like do my best in Premiere and just like, let's get it off.
It's like I've never dabbled with After Effects, but I know that like that's where some of the stuff is, and I'm like, okay, cool, I guess. If it, because the most I've done is like if it involved fading or something, like someone fading. Or
Oh, right.
I think I did one once with somebody where we there was a sketch that one of my friends had me help film and edit, where he was like someone who believed he was a dastardly vaudeville villain. And we did one episode where it was all a silent film bit until he got clonked on the head. And then as he was like falling and his hat was there, the color started coming back and all of the audio started coming back.
Oh, that is really neat.
Yeah, it turned out really well. And it was really fun to shoot, and it was fun to play around with. That's like probably the most complicated thing I've done with editing, and I'm not even sure if I did that. I think he had a way of doing that, and I was like, I helped with like some of the filtering, like the grainy film, because like I had iMovie and it came with that sort of thing. I was like, perfect.
Right.
And then adding like, it was through there I learned more about separating video and audio, so then I could actually be better with the audio cuts. And like, when you get like, maybe you've had this as like a first time experience, but you've had like where the frame changes, but you get that little in audio.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like figuring out how to do that, like get rid of that.
Yeah. I think a lot of like how like when you're doing a scene with like two characters, it's always good to like have the person talk like when it's time for their next line, like you still have the person talking, but then like after done talking, it's like them for a second, and then like the other person, you would overlay the that one part of audio and then that one part of video and then that one part of audio, so it starts and then you transition to what they were saying, so it's like smoother almost,
like you give it a beat basically.
Yeah,
no, I dig that. Like, I'm wondering if because when you're filming in multiple different perspectives, like I'm wondering if that's part of it too. I also just thought of an interesting question. What was the first video editing software you've ever used?
Oh my god. I have like this whole timeline.
Oh god, okay.
I haven't used a lot, but it's like there's a timeline for it. Anyway, so when I was first like, oh yeah, I gotta edit my videos. To be honest, I didn't edit them really. Like when I first edited them, they weren't really. But I used Windows Movie Maker. Like back in the day, Windows Movie Maker was like that was the thing. although I didn't really know how it worked, because the timeline, like, I don't know if you used like I don't know if Movie Maker even changed. I don't know, but like the way the timeline goes is it goes like this, and then like a piece of paper. Like you read it like an essay. Like it goes like this,
Yeah.
and then it goes like this. Like why does it do that? And I remember making like my outro like in Photoshop. Not Photoshop. It was in PowerPoint, because PowerPoint you could like overlay videos on
Oh
it.
my god.
So, like, I, like, had to, like, extract the PowerPoint thing into the Windows Movie Maker, and that was the video. It was wild.
That's definitely one of those, like, may not be the best effort or best way to approach it, but you gotta admire the ingenuity.
Exactly, like, I don't know, I have, I I'm not, like, super smart, but, like, when I have, like when I need to solve something, I somehow figure I, like, have a story about, like, how, because okay, I'll do it in a little bit, but, um, so I used to use Movie Maker, and I didn't use it for too long, because honestly, that software gave me, like, freaking ulcer to use. Anyway, but then I started using Sony Vegas, like, Pro 13, I think, and I stuck with that for a long time. And if you know anything about Sony Vegas has like atrocious rendering times.
Oh
Like
no.
you can like there's like a 30-minute video, let's say, and it'll take like 4 times the amount of time of the video to render the video. It was ridiculous. I had to like leave my machine on so many nights for it to like render.
Oh god.
And then I remember like this is like in 2016. I was like, oh, everyone says Premiere is like really good and everything. So then I was like, okay, you know what, bam, we're making another jump and to Premiere, right? And then I like put something in it. Something went wrong the first time
Oh
I
no.
used that software or something, because something wasn't right. And then I was like, okay, this is scary. Jumping back to my already sinking ship. So I used Sony Vegas for the next like 2 years. And then for some reason I was like, I'm sick of this. I'm going to Premiere. And then the second time I used Premiere, it was fine. Like I like edited in it fine, and the rendering time was fantastic. Okay, it was like a fraction of the time with like great quality. Like I was like doing the frames in like the same video in Sony Vegas and in Premiere, and Premiere was like much clearer than Sony Vegas was. So I was like, okay, well, you know, Premiere it is, and I've been using Premiere ever since, even though I hate Premiere so much because it sucks, but you know.
Yeah. I mean, it works for you though.
It does.
Yeah.
If DaVinci Resolve was like a thing, like more well known or well like talked about during the time that I decided to switch to Premiere, I probably would have switched to DaVinci and then probably be better off with crashes than Premiere.
Yeah. Does Premiere crash on you often?
Not like I remember. So Premiere is really funky because I used to have like the 2019 version, and then the 2019 version just like crashed constantly. So that's how you know that Adobe's like, you're not allowed to have 2019 anymore.
Yeah.
So
they
it like
realize
forces you to upgrade it for like no reason whatsoever. And then so nowadays it doesn't crash, but
that's
it does have its like it's don't like you that much, Premiere.
Yeah, it's just like, but what if we didn't?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
it's the whole thing of like, what if we just didn't work?
Yeah, you know, it's just like it's come full circle now because like we had that earlier, and it's like, oh my god. Yeah. And yeah, like Windows Media, like Movie Maker, I was like, oh god, that takes me back to like 2010, 2011 with the stuff that I was talking about. I was like, that's exactly what my friend would use. I was like, oh my god.
It was atrocious.
Yeah, and then meanwhile, he came to me because I had iMovie, and I really wanted to get like Final Cut Pro because like I had the Mac at the time, and I was like, oh, okay, I got it because it was better for like video creation at the time, and then look at me now with the Windows for just
Yeah.
stuff, because it's better for gaming. But it's fun how like your needs change, or like your um I guess what you're looking for, or just your tolerance for crashing bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you currently use Premiere.
Yeah.
Are there any are you looking to change that in sometime in the near future, or are you like sticking it out until you find something that works a little bit better, or stick with what you
I
know?
mean, I would like, well, I mean, Premiere works fine. Like I've used it for like probably almost longer now than how long I used Sony Vegas, but I would love to like go into DaVinci Resolve because I've heard so many like great things about it and how it's like the Premiere, but it costs less. Like,
Yeah. I've actually never heard of this. I've never
yeah,
heard of
apparently
DaVinci.
DaVinci Resolve is like one of like the like cinematic, like, or not cinematic, the like movie editing like kits that like some like movies like use. And I was like, what? Um but I know like Premiere is also like well known and well versed as well, so I kind of like want to stick with Premiere for like the adversity, like since like it's good, it's better to share projects between like
Yeah.
Premiere files than like Sony Vegas and like Premiere file, like, and like having to do that whole like
Like
round and round.
it's easier to export it basically, or
Yeah.
like share it between like media.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Um, I currently use Filmora for mostly audio editing, weirdly. Because I did, and a little bit of video for like self-tape auditions, which I personally am like, I'm not a fan of self-tape auditions because it's awkward. I like
Oh,
having a
for
person
sure.
to bounce off of.
Yeah.
So
You just
that's
like slate by yourself.
Oh my, it's awkward. I actually did do a self-tape once where my sister was recording it, and that was almost like a little awkward. I was like, uh-oh.
I think
It
I
was
think
also
I'm like
my
the opposite because I think like I don't actually like if I'm in front, if I'm like filming like myself, I actually don't like anyone else in the room actually. Like I don't, I think I find it like uncomfortable for me to like have a person like watching like what I'm doing and what I'm saying.
yeah. I don't know.
So I think
I
actually like
like
self-taping is probably like my thing, I guess.
I also am I've been the type of actor that I absolutely dislike how I look and sound on camera.
Oh, I mean, when you're an editor, you get used to like the sound of your
I
own
know.
voice.
I noticed that too, and I was like, as I'm doing more self-tapes and stuff, I'm like, all right, I guess I can put up with this.
Yeah, you know?
Like, sure.
Like it's okay.
Have you ever done any like when you're filming things that you just had like an idea for, have you ever done that on your phone and then like imported that to like be edited or something?
Oh, for, like more times than I can count. I think actually like I used to use my phone as like the face cam for like a lot of my YouTube videos. Like I
Nice.
think actually like up on to, yeah, no, I think all my YouTube videos that have like my face in it are like from my phone. It's from my phone.
Oh wow.
So like I used to have this whole process. Like again, I don't really again like my probably YouTube filming process is probably, I think everyone's YouTube filming process is probably unique in some way, but like I would have to get this like phone like phone screen monitoring like app so I could like see myself,
Mhm.
and then I would like set it up on like the like tripod or ring light or whatever, and then record on the phone, record on the screen, record audition, and then like sync all those up, and then do whatever I do for like however long, and then I have to stop recording all these things, extract all those files, and then like throw it into the editing software. That's what I did. Like, so that's why there's like so many like video files and audio files. So I am very well versed in like filming with my phone, especially if like I need like different camera angles. Like I would film with my phone and then like set up another camera in another position.
Now,
So
have you had to compete with like the different film quality, or is it like were you able to match it? Like, because sometimes when you film on two different, like I think of The Room as a good example, like the movie The Room. Have you seen
yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Okay, so apparently they used two different millimeter films throughout the film.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can tell the quality difference. Have you ever had to struggle with that when you're using like a camera and your phone?
Yes. I think it's a different type of struggle because I purposefully use another camera for like if I want a different type of shot. So usually I use the phone for like a wide angle shot because honestly bokeh doesn't really matter, kind of. And then when I need to like do close-ups and stuff, I like do another camera. So it's kind of masking, but like also you could probably tell the difference.
But with what you're doing with it, it's at least a little bit more intentional rather than we just have like two different qualities of film or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I know with now that we're transitioning to like digital and all that, and like everything is filmed pretty digitally now. We don't have like film negatives anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, that's something like if you ever got the chance to edit with film negatives, like in the old days, is that something you would be interested in?
Maybe. I don't know. I'm not like super familiar with it, but I would love to like see how it would be done.
Like they cut the negative and they put it there and that they put it together and then it's like that's like how they literally cut film.
Yeah. It's like editing like the old days.
The precursor.
Like instead of like Control K to cut, it's actually a piece of scissor.
Yeah, it's just like, well, I better not fuck this up.
Oh, dude, there's no control. There's no Control Z on that thing.
You know, no Control Z. That also reminded me. Actually, this is a question I have. You said you've lived in New York. You said you didn't live in the city, or did you live in the city?
My dad worked in the city, so I went into the city often. I never lived in the city.
Okay.
But I lived in like one of like New York's boroughs, like Brooklyn.
You lived in one of the 5 boroughs of the city, like Queens or like Brooklyn or something. Okay. I'm wondering if this was well, actually no, this museum has been around for a while. Have you ever been to the Museum of Moving Image in Queens?
I don't think so.
Oh my god. I think as someone who enjoys like video work and editing and stuff like that, I think or just like general things about film, I feel like you would find that very fascinating.
Interesting.
It's personally one of my favorite museums because it's really fun. It's very interactive. They have like editing booths you can do. Like you can take like you can record voiceover like ADR for like famous film scenes so that you can put your own spin on it. They give you like the lines and stuff. And then they have like you can do sound effects where you can, but it's usually like something silly.
Oh, that would be so neat.
Yeah. And for anyone in chat, if you happen to be in like, or anyone listening actually, or watching, whatever, in Astoria and Queens, which I guess they would just call it Astoria, but it's in the borough of Queens. That borough is weird when it comes to naming their areas, but whatever. Yeah, it's like right off the R train, I think, at Steinway Street. The Museum of Moving Image is really cool, and they have rotating exhibits. Um,
Oh.
there's some that they have like permanently, like they have all their general stuff. But they have rotating exhibits like Mad Men. Um, they have a Muppets one that comes in and out, and I'm always mad that I miss those.
Oh no.
It's like, no, I want to see the Jim Henson exhibit. Muppets.
I want to see Muppets.
I want to see Jim Henson stuff. Um, yeah, but I highly recommend you or anybody that happens to be nearby it check it out. It's really cool. Also, this is a question I have. Have you ever done stop motion animation?
I think I've never done it because, well, honestly, it to my ADHD brain, it's like you gotta like it's like moving one thing and like taking a picture and like adding it all together. Um, it's like it takes so much like work and effort for like the product, and I'm just like, that's so much work for my ADHD fidgety ass. Um, but I think stop motion is really cool. Like if you've ever seen the movie Kubo and the Two Strings,
I haven't
like
yet, but I've seen footage of it.
like it's completely the whole movie's made with stop motion and
Yeah.
like clay figures and everything, and it's so interesting and it's so intensive that they like move each piece like every frame, which a typical movie is like 24 frames a second. So every second it's like there's like millions of pictures that
Yeah.
they for every step, every movement, every gasp. Like
Yeah.
it's wild. And the same thing with like if you've ever I don't know what's that. There's a YouTube channel where they do stuff in stop motions where they like I don't remember what it's called. I think it's called Pez, the channel, I think, where they do stop motion and they make food, but like it's like let's say like the meat is like they like take like a football and they like deli slice it and it
Oh
like turns into like
yeah.
that thing.
Okay.
Like that's super cool and everything. And like Lego stop motion as well, like
Oh yeah.
also very cool as well. But it's all like me personally, I think I don't have the commitment to do that, especially like if you make a mistake too. It's like,
God
oh
damn
my
it.
god.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, I gotta do all that. It just seems like too much effort, and I don't have the attention span for it.
Honestly, if I were to like commit to it, like I would like probably be doing like a good chunk of work, and then like my fidgety ass will like knock it over or something, and then I have to start over, and then that's when I give up. That's when I'm like, I am done,
Yeah.
and I'm throwing myself down a flight of stairs.
I don't have the patience for this.
Yeah.
I don't have
so-
the patience with myself for this. Yeah, I can, but I like you can definitely appreciate it, which is cool.
Yeah.
Oh shit, I had a question and I forgot what it was. So let's just move on to a different thing. It's like, nah, it's fine. Was there anything, let's see. Because the beauty of this is that you can info dump about like a lot of different things, and even if it means
Yeah.
like going, I even told a few people that I was talking to, because one of my friends was interested, and she had like some of them. It's very simple. Like you gave me like video work, editing, technical stuff with that as an example, and then I had one friend who was just like Shakespeare. Like they could talk about like Shakespeare for hours. And I trust them. And then I have a friend who had like a bunch of things, and I'm like, I mean, it could be multiple episodes if you want, and there's still like things here and there, like I would say like kinks to work out, but also no kink shame here.
Oh, you're so right.
Was there anything else that you wanted to throw into the info dumpster before I ask chat if they have any questions for you?
I think I think I think the only other, I'm trying to think about what I wrote about to talk about in
I
that
have it. So you have anything technical, computers, cameras, audio, and how being neurodivergent impacts daily life and experiences.
oh, neurodivergency.
Yeah. It's like just about neurodivergency in general.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I think that like it's really interesting because like for like the longest time I thought like, what I did was like normal, and
Yeah.
then like to like go on the internet and then like find people that like also have like share the same experiences, and then to find that that's not normal. Like there's other people that experience it, but you're not normal. You're not normal though.
No, never.
So it's like really opened up eyes to like, because for such a long time I thought like that I wasn't like neurodivergent, and like I was like, this is how everyone is, like everyone, like I don't know, like the same thing with like sexuality and everything. Like everyone wishes to be a like the opposite gender. Like
It's like, what do you mean?
like what do you mean?
It's like,
You were like, bro, being a girl sucks. Like
yeah, it's like, oh, that wasn't you? Oh no. It's like, what are.
yeah,
It's like, it's not weird to question gender norms or whatever.
exactly like that.
It's like,
Like it's, I think it's like one of the like great things that I've discovered through being on the internet is like that these like it's almost like I had narrow eyes, or like actually wearing sunglasses, right? And
yeah.
then like taking them off and then like actually seeing things that like were right in front of you, kind
It's.
of.
I think of it like, have you seen this movie They Live?
No, I haven't.
It's like when the guy finds the special sunglasses, and when he puts them on, he can see like obey and consume and like the all of that. That's what it's. That just what you were saying reminded me of that. It's like the if you hear the quote, I came here to kick ass and chew bubblegum, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've heard
so
that.
that movie, yeah, he wears the sunglasses, and then he can see like the truth of like what's actually going on in the world.
Right.
And then, yeah, I think that's learning that like, oh, this is the reality of what I live in. Like, was it only how can I ask this question? Like in your experience, is it more like being neurodivergent was the thing that you thought was normal, or was it just like certain aspects of your own experiences that you noticed like, oh, like this isn't how people typically operate? What?
I think it's like neurodivergency in general. Like, I didn't even, to be honest, when I was younger, I didn't even know neurodivergency was like even a word. Like, to be honest, like, what is it? I think I was introduced to like ADD as like the quirky, like, oh my god, ADD for the aesthetic. Like, so when I was first introduced to it, it was like, oh, everyone's a little ADD, like, and I think at like one time in my youth, I think I like said that at like one point in my time, like because that's what everyone else was saying to me, like everyone's a little ADD, and I was like, oh, you know what, you're so right, everyone's a little ADD. Everyone can't like focus every once in a while, and then like the more I learned about it, the more that I was like, it's not just about like you can't focus. It's not just about that. It like in it really, like the more I researched it, the more it made sense for like some of my behaviors. Like the reason that like I, no matter how hard I try, I can't like do this one thing, or the reason why I do things impulsively, it's not because I'm like cool and quirky or anything. It's because like I just like I the way that my brain like operates, and it's the same thing like for like I have this terrible, terrible, terrible issue with procrastinating. Um, but not because but I always dumbed it down to oh, everyone procrastinates, you know? But the reason I procrastinate is because if like if I work on it or something, or perfectionism and all those other things and
Yeah.
everything.
It's just like the what do you call it? Um you're not procrastinating out of like I just don't feel like doing this, like just because like maybe some people like we would have some of the same experiences as someone else, but for different reasons. So it's not
Yeah.
exactly the same experience, like because that's something I've also learned recently. It's like, oh, but everyone goes through such and such thing. It's like maybe, but you don't understand. Like in this case,
Yeah,
it's not the reasons you think it is,
yeah.
and it's not the same.
A lot of times I experience insomnia, right? So usually people they're like, oh, everyone can't sleep every once in a while. But for me, the reason why sometimes I can't sleep is if I sleep, then and let's say I have a stressful thing the next day, if I sleep, then the day ends, and the next day comes faster, or I'm I wasn't really productive this day, so if this day ends, then I've done nothing for the day, and then you're stressed about that. So it's but obviously the way other people dumb it down is oh, you just can't sleep, oh man, get some melatonin or something,
Bitch,
so
you didn't think I tried that?
yeah, exactly. I don't know why people don't understand how the reasoning behind a lot of things that
Yeah,
we
and
go through.
either, and also with that, and not necessarily my own experience, but people I know, it's like they've tried melatonin or they've tried sleeping medication, and it does either not much or a bit too much.
Yeah.
There's no middle ground that actually works for them, and maybe it could be just how their body handles that medication or that certain thing, and it's just when people have you can appreciate when someone suggests oh, maybe you can try this thing, and unless it's yoga or something, but I don't know why everyone goes to yoga.
It's so peaceful,
it's so peaceful. It's have you ever tried to do it when your brain doesn't shut up?
Oh yeah, you're trying to sleep and you're your thoughts are just super loud,
Yeah, it's just
which is interesting because some people will be like, thoughts can't speak.
it's
Uh.
well, yeah, we know that, but it feels like they can.
Yeah,
you're it's bizarre.
It's wild to me that people actually have silence in their
Yeah,
brain,
some people's brains, there's nothing in there. They don't.
Yeah,
no
they can
thoughts.
clear their mind.
No thoughts, head
When they'll be
empty.
clear my mind, and they take a deep breath, it's just who all the lots. No, I try, and it's you're trying to silence me? No!
It's I live, bitch.
Yeah,
it's people live with silence in their brains. I feel like I get that on very tiny little rare occasions, and then all of a sudden it's back to we're doing things.
Yeah.
And it's shut up. It's
that's the only time it happens to me is when I zone out and just noise just cuts off like that.
That's when dissociation kicks in.
Oh, that's so true.
Yeah, it's dissociating is but even then sometimes
the ultimate peace.
The ultimate peace, dissociation. And then even then sometimes you're probably daydreaming or something, and you're just
yeah,
you're actually there's something going on, but you're also not. You're just cut out from everything that's going on out there. Everything's happening inside.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's oh. Are there any positive ways that being neurodivergent, like any positive contributions that it's made to your life?
I think,
And I guess like your
well,
day-to-day experience.
it's my day-to-day experience, I think, I mean, sometimes it gets like really bad to where like I'm supposed to be working at something, but like one of the things that I think is that I find is like a strength is like hyperfixating. Um, like I think it's great that like when I to know that when I'm interested in something that I put my all into that. For like that's not my choice. Like when I hyperfixate on something, I put like all my effort into it to making it like great and to making it something that I love, you know? Like a lot of my special interests, I've put in like all my effort into them and everything. And like I think it's great that like, you know, to like try and like put your all into stuff that you're interested in. Although I wish it was like I wish it wasn't like so like the negative parts weren't so like when they hit they weren't so like oh you know
Like it's less
um
debilitating. You wish it was less debilitating.
yeah, like less restraining,
Yeah.
like when I have to work on something that I don't want to. Like my brain is like, you don't want to do this. You're gonna find like the tiniest amount of effort you can give to completing this task. And that's why like it sucks like for college specifically, like I have to learn something that I want to learn or like I'll just do the like absolutely bare minimum and then like because I think I used to be studying like a science program in college and like I like almost failed like biology or something because I just simply didn't I just simply wasn't there or didn't have like the motivation or the means to like actually like work hard and put my effort into it. So when I'm able to do it, I love it. But when I'm not able to do it and I need to do it, then it's a little less. But honestly, I think hyperfixating is like a strength because it's it's nice to like be able to and especially with being impulsive every as well to like dive into that immediately.
Like have the ability to just jump head first into it.
Yeah, like without thinking. Like a
Yeah.
lot of times like when you think about doing something, you think about like how hard it is and then you end up not doing it or like pushing it off. So with like being impulsive, like you don't have that like you know the whole saying of like think twice before you say something. I don't do that.
Yeah.
Uh, a lot of times I say things and I'm like, oh wait, maybe I shouldn't have said that. But it's the same thing with like that same thing with jumping into something that like I'm interested in. Like I don't have that thing to be like, oh wait, hold on for a second. Let's think about it. No, I just like go straight into it. And I think that's one of like the great things about it.
Yeah. And then like you come up like you come across as like somebody who like in a school setting, it's fairly common knowledge that people with like ADD, ADHD may not do super well in school because not necessarily because they don't understand the material or they don't it's not like an intelligence thing. They're just not a good student.
Yeah, like it's the exact same thing with like test takers. Like
Yeah.
it's not because they're not a great student, it's because they suck at tests.
Yeah. They suck at test taking, they suck at the traditional classroom setting.
Yeah.
Like some people can kind of fly under the radar because they found ways to do it, but not everybody can do that. Like, would it be safe to assume that you were somebody that um, flew under the radar for the most part, or was it like, nah, this girl, like, there's something up with her,
I think
or this person, you know?
The thing is, in school, like, I was very like physically you could tell that like something wasn't correct. But I think like in tests, like I tested fine and like learned fine, although like sometimes like I would like have to like go home and like restudy. Or actually, thing is, I think math was my best subject because like it was visual, like you could see how you got to the solution. And I think my
Yeah.
worst subject was English or language arts or whatever they call it nowadays, like because it was reading. And I guess with like at the time I didn't know I was probably like dyslexic. Like I couldn't like read, like, and it wasn't because I didn't want to read, it was also because I wasn't interested in whatever books that like we were supposed to be reading. Like, I want you to know that I didn't read any of my books, like any of the books. Like, I think we had to like read like Frankenstein or something, and I didn't, like, for every test I would just review the spark notes
Yes.
before every test, and like somehow I got like B's on them. Anyway, like, so, and like paragraphs of words just like was really challenging for me. And I think the only like one of the only books that I truly read, I don't know if you know the name of the book, but it's like the like Adventures like Hugo Cabret. It was like like half the book is like pictures, but like there's also like regular like paragraphs and everything. But I think the contrast of like looking at the pictures, because through context clues, you know, like when people like they give you descriptions in the text of like what they look like, I think looking at how they were drawn was like much easier for me to like understand, like, or make the connection that this is what they were supposed to look like
off of visual cues rather than written cues.
Yeah,
and that, not reading any of it, I relate to, because that may have been me through like AP literature.
Yeah,
but
like,
only because the sheer volume of how much we had to read in a short period of time.
Honestly, I like am glad I didn't take any like AP classes, although I was upset with myself for a while, because like all my friends around me like took AP classes, and they were like much further on like to where I was. I was like, you know, I'm just like vibing here, I guess.
Yeah, I will say, depending on the subject, you didn't miss out.
Yeah, like I think one of my favorite like types of like, I think in one of the years of English, it was like specifically like Shakespearean, like British literature and everything. And I think like plays, and we would like read out the like give ourselves, like the teacher would give us roles and we would play out the play. And I think that was like really helpful for me, because it was like, it wasn't like reading a book, it was like reading like a script. And it made it easier to visualize like how the characters were feeling and everything.
And especially when the teacher reading. Like would explain, especially with Shakespearean text, like they would explain what they were saying. That I found helped me out a lot when it came to Shakespeare.
Yeah, and I think one of the like also another like hard thing like for like books, like finding the meaning in like books like that, like that was like, why do I need to know what the author was trying to say?
Yeah,
like, it's just a book, bro. I thought it was for interpretation, like art, you know, like why do I need to like know these motifs? Like, how am I supposed to know that the wrench is like a symbol for like freedom and like, you know, I was trapped and, you know, the wrench is, I don't know, like how does that even like be like, hello?
No, I just that.
Don't get it.
It's like the meme that people had where it's like, oh, the curtain was blue because, like, what the teacher says, like, it's because of this being a postmodern blah 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 and yada yada, and then the author actually the curtain was fucking blue.
Yeah, it's like, oh, the curtain is blue because like it's a symbolism of like sadness, and the main character went through like such a tragic death, or blah blah blah. They like I swear they're making it up.
Yeah.
Okay, I swear they're making it up.
They might be making it up. I am like at least halfway convinced these educators are making this shit up. It's like, have you talked to the author?
Yeah, did you know? Huh? Did you look this up? Huh?
Did they time travel to the author? Did you go to Mary Shelley and like ask her why she wrote Frankenstein? Although that
exactly,
said, there's a lot. I love when people can point out parallels. I don't know if they're intentional or not, because like Frankenstein could be a parallel to like racism and like other like different abilities and all that. And, like, I get that, and it's fine.
Yeah.
But when it's like whether or not the author intended it, I'm not sure if I entirely care, but it's still cool.
Yeah.
But how do we know that's what they meant?
Yeah, like, because like maybe during that time it was hard to write about, so they like made it into like an analogy for like that. I think I can see parallels. I like to see parallels a lot in like TV shows, like, you know, when they say like a line like the same time in the same kind of situation in like 2 different seasons.
Yeah. Like, oh, callback.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like like, I don't know, like with AP classes, like if it's a subject that I imagine, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, if it was a subject that you were genuinely very invested and interested in, you probably would, like, would it be safe to say that you would enjoy that more?
Yes.
Like, for example, if there was an AP in like film history.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I think I'd be much more involved in such a subject. Like, I remember not being very interested in like biology and stuff, but like astronomy, like I love. Like, it's still like a science, but like it's a different field of science. And I remember being like super interested in anatomy, like learning about like all the bones and stuff, and muscle tissue and everything. Like, that was super intriguing to me too.
Yeah.
But chemistry, I can eat a bag of dicks. Like,
yeah, it's like, I mean, it's cool, but also, do I really need to know this?
Yeah, like, when am I gonna be mixing these elements? Hello?
I mean, cool, I guess. Yeah, don't, to anybody who decides to take AP classes, if for some reason someone younger is watching this, take AP classes in what you want to learn, not what you feel like you need to learn. Learn from my mistake.
Yeah, I mean, I think AP classes is good for like college credit, so you don't have to take it later, but I don't know, it's just like a lot of work up ahead. Like, it's like you get all the work like up front. Like,
yeah. There's also summer courses.
Oh, yikes, hate that.
Yeah, I did that like once. But that's also because I was trying to get accepted to NYU, and it turns out my guess is because my SAT scores weren't high enough for them or something. Or maybe my audition for Tisch sucked. I don't know. But
honestly, I think SAT sucks. Like,
yeah,
again,
SATs
it's like the whole, like, if you're a bad test taker, especially like a timed test taker. Like,
standardized test taking is a bunch of nonsense. It's like just how they pick and choose what schools get more funding. I'm like, that's ridiculous. But
yeah.
Like, if you could take an AP class or something like that in any subject, like, not talking like any school subjects, I mean just anything, what would you do?
I'd love to take an AP class in like something technical, like computers or something. Not coding, because I think I suck. I still suck at coding. But like I think like physically like computers, like what's inside and like how the computer works and everything. I
Like
think
computer
that
science or something like that?
kind of, yeah. But not like coding, like how like me actually like coding like a program. Maybe just learning about how the program operates.
And just like how it functions.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Um, yeah, I mean, do you have like, so like just the inner workings of the computer
Yeah.
and how that contributes to its functioning?
Yeah, like especially like I think just like tech in general, like there was this one thing that I saw that like monitors actually have this like film over them, right? So if you tear that film off, like it's actually just a white screen. Like you can't see anything. But like if you like I saw someone like cut out that film and like taped it onto like glasses, and then like if when you put on the glasses you could like see the monitor like as it's supposed to, like how it reflects off of the thing that's onto our eyes. And I thought that was so cool that like how like the how a monitor, like how we see things on a monitor is like from this like piece of film that's layered on top of the whole thing.
Yeah, that's neat. Like, I don't know why I imagine like just it's like 3D glasses and then you just see all the little electric like
Yeah.
It's like that'd be sick.
Like I think it's so cool that
Nice.
like how people somehow like engineered this and it's like come this far.
Yeah. Would this just feels like a fun question, like for shits and giggles, but do you feel you as SuperSeizer would pass a Turing test?
I don't know. To be honest, who really knows? Because like I don't like I've like taken lots of like I know the Turing test is like is there a Turing test like for like robots to like
yeah, it's like the if a robot can trick you into thinking that it's human.
Yeah, like and like I think I played this game where it's like it was like a horror based game basically, like where you took that test. I think it was called the Scott Watson test.
Oh yeah, I
yeah.
remember that one.
Yeah, and it was like kind of like the same thing, like asking a bunch of like morally gray questions and everything. And like I think it's interesting because like a lot of times I like feel like I'm being tricked and I like end up being like, oh, this is how you want me to pick the opposite. And then the thing is that like I suck because it's still a test, so like I would second guess myself like at every question.
Yeah.
So it'd be wild.
That's me playing like any decision-based game. I overthink the fuck out of it.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Because it's like I want everyone to live if possible, and then I end up accidentally killing off one of the characters. Like, oh,
exactly.
Like go through like where I played the quarry, I killed off like half of the playable characters. I was like, well,
literally.
I literally did because not on purpose. I didn't actually try to kill them. But then when I try to kill them, then it's like, oh, they're gonna live out of fucking spite.
Yeah, no,
like what the hell?
I think it's interesting with games like Until Dawn, like the Quarry, where they have decisions there that like seem stupid, but like somehow work out. Like
some of them seem
pick up this squeaky toy.
Yeah.
That you're supposed to be quiet in this quiet environment. Yeah, this squeaky toy, if you picked it up, you would have lived. But
get fucked.
In the moment, you're like, oh, why would I take that? Because it's gonna make noise, and then it's gonna attract whoever, and then I'm gonna die. Like,
Yeah, exactly. It's just
Yeah.
like, nah, dude. But I mean, I like those games because it's really
Yeah.
cool how they integrate all of that. Um, I just don't like, especially when you know the decision is important. And then it's just like, but I'm conflicted.
The boulders
The
conflicted.
boulders conflicted and whatever. And yeah, that was one of the reasons why like 2 of my characters died. And I was like, ah,
Wow.
literally at the same time. And I was like, great. I'm not gonna give
Yeah.
details in case anybody hasn't played the Quarry. Go play it if you haven't, or go watch the playthrough of it. I mean, I guess you can watch the one I did here, but at the same time, there's like plenty of Let's Plays and streams that have had it, so go watch those. Oh, you know one that we never got back to? Owl House.
Oh yes. I adore that show with my like whole heart.
Is there anything you can throw into the dumpster about it without too many spoilers?
Oh yeah, like I think it's like it's an animated show, but it has like a great storyline and it has fantastic characters with different arcs and everything. It also like um has queer representation and like an accurate representation of like how the characters go through like something traumatic and everything. And I think it's just it's one of those shows where it has that it's not where like it's kind of like if you've ever seen like Steven Universe Future, like how Steven like deals with that whole weight of that in like that whole season. It's kind of like that, like people like the characters and what they go through and how they deal with it. And they don't like simple it down like other cartoons or shows where they kind of like wrap it up in like that same episode. Like
it's an ongoing
yeah.
overarching development.
Yeah, which I think is like realistic kind of and
Like,
more relatable.
Is Owl House marketed to kids?
It's like supposed to be, but it has like I think I think technically it's more like not like a teen show, like maybe like a young adult show kind of.
Okay.
It doesn't have like that language of like an adult show, but it has like those themes where like kind of like how like if you were queer and like you saw that representation like as a kid, like you saw yourself, like you're like, oh, these characters are going through something that I'm going through, and that you're like you feel seen in that show. So
Yeah.
it's personally I think it's just really it's like it's just such a like strong show with like lovable characters as well, and the character design's also fantastic in the world that they're in.
Yeah. Like that. It sounds like, because I've heard people saying that they really enjoy the show, or like they enjoy it, and like it kind of reminds me of a lot of the ways that people would express what was going on as they were watching Steven Universe and things like that.
Yeah.
So I felt like it had sort of that vibe, and like it's really cool to see anything like that had any kind of representation in media, in
Yeah.
any form. Like, there's a lot of, I mean, this could be a whole other conversation of like representation in media, like for all different types of communities and all that.
Yeah.
Like queer representation, disabled representation, like non-white representation and shit like that. Like, those are whole things that honestly, do you think like more neurodivergent people are likely to question that sort of thing, like that representation? Like, why is there not more of this?
I think so. I think because I know I do, because a lot of the times, like when there is that type of representation, it's like it's like negatively like put. Like I've seen like so many like Disney films, like people of color like are like, for example, like Princess and the Frog, like the protagonists are like frogs for like 98% of the movie. Like it's like, so basically like anytime there is like something that is that's not neurotypical, that's not like hetero, that stuff, it's taken like, it's like somehow hidden, or not even hidden, but like infantized kind of. Yeah. And so it like it I think it's not that like, why isn't there more, but why isn't there more accurate representations of it? Like I'm pretty sure I've seen like some TV shows where they pawn someone off as like someone that like can't focus or anything, or something that like,
yeah,
like they like overdo it almost, like oh, they can't focus.
That's pretty neat.
Around, like, everything. But it's not like that for, so it's almost like there were like people that go through it as they're being made fun of in the film or whatever media that we're being represented in.
Yeah. Do you first of all, who was it? Sven Arnold Yusen? Thank you for the follow. That's really appreciated. I was like, how do I pronounce this name? But coming back to this, to the sidetrack for a second, are there any like accurate or more positive representations of any character with like ADD, ADHD that you've noticed? Like, if you've seen any, like in any form of media, or like even as like movies and film, television. I'll even stretch it out to like content creation, I guess.
I don't really know. Like, I think like with neurodivergency, it's really like, because it's so easy to like pawn it off as something else, you know, because obviously like there's like masking and everything, which makes it seem like, oh, you're not neurodivergent, but you're like masking over it. So it's harder to tell like in media whether like the person that's acting is like doing that because they were told to, or like it's their natural quirk as an actor and stuff, like, or an actress, or
yeah.
So I think there's different representations. I think there's always better ways better ways I've seen that it was done. I can't think of any right now, but
yeah, like a fictional characters.
Yeah, I think so.
Or like in memoir films, like or what it's called, biopics.
Oh.
Like that's just like for fictional characters, but I'm also curious. I guess like to make it a little more clear, I think what I was initially thinking was like fictional characters that give more positive, like a more accurate representation of ADD or ADHD. And if you can't think of anything from there, are there any like celebrities or entertainers or anything like that? Like, then this spans into like content creation, film and television, like, I don't know, professional wrestling or whatever. That like is, because that is like, well, not an accurate representation because it's literally the person, but like,
Yeah.
I mean, that would serve as a good, I hesitate to say role model, but is someone that like owns up to it and like sets a positive, like, maybe is a bit more real about it than rather than like, oh, you know, blah blah blah, it's like joking or whatever, but actually it's like, no, but seriously, like, I do have this and like this is a thing, I get it.
Yeah, like, I can't really, I'm probably like mind blanking. I'm sure I've seen it somewhere and be like, oh my god, whoa, that's like me. But like, I can't think of any.
Yeah.
But I think very few times I've like watched like a, like, especially like if I go back and like watch something like an old like TV show or a movie, sometimes I can see like traits, and that's, I guess, where people get like their like headcanons of like, oh, I headcanon this person as like someone with ADHD or autism or something.
Like, it's
like
never
they
it's never
headcanon
like
characters
said, but it's implied.
Yeah, like based on like how they act and everything and how they react to things like in the scene. And it's the same thing for like for queer stuff as well. Like
It's very possible, because
Yeah.
I think all of the, I could be wrong about this. I've heard that all of the crystal gems in Steven Universe are generally queer coded, and like the
Yeah.
majority of them are like, they're not humans, but if they were human, they would probably be people of color.
Yeah.
Like, I think it was, a lot of it was coded that way. Like that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't
like,
know if it was intentional or not.
I think it was actually.
Yeah.
I don't remember doing a lot of like, I remember doing a lot of like stuff, like research stuff for like She-Ra. But like for Steven Universe, I don't remember if the creator, like, I remember the creator saying that like that, if this is spoilers for Steven Universe anyway, like,
Oh,
that
spoiler alert.
the wedding scene for Garnet,
Mm-hmm.
like that was like blocked in like whatever country and everything, and like they had Ruby wearing the like the wedding gown, and then Sapphire like wearing the suit, so it's almost like switch gender roles, so that like the people that censor, those countries that censor that type of stuff, like don't like force Ruby like into like the male, or the male representing like norm, and Sapphire into that female norm, to reconnect that like heterosexual like relationship and everything. And also like Pearl is so, like, to me, so obviously swinging the other way, you know?
Yeah.
Like, so I think the creator did mean to like be more openly queer about their characters, Um, I think they just weren't allowed to be, and that's why they had to like snake around it, kind of,
Like
or
when
um, make it. Shoot, what's the word? The like, make it dull enough or not dull
over,
enough? Like, yeah, like secret or
like an open secret,
yeah,
the worst kept secret.
yeah.
Yay.
So they have to make it like they have to like hint at it heavily.
Yeah. And then like when you get into um intersectionality, that's a whole other thing. But
Oh yeah.
it's always good to see like if that happens where it's like, yeah, identity is complicated and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But that's good. But as far as like, yeah, it sounds like with ADD and ADHD, media in general has a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
Like a lot of work. Because it is one of the more, because I imagine you, and this is not to age you or anything, you might have grown up in the age where ADHD was like overly diagnosed or something like that.
Maybe because I haven't really like when I learned about it, like I learned about it not from like people, like not a lot of people of like where in my neighborhood or anything was like used that like phrase like heavily.
Yeah.
I don't think they ever really talked about like neurodivergency in like my neighborhood. Everyone was just like, "Ah, they're just like cool and quirky."
And like, I'm quirky. And not actually understanding what that means.
Yeah.
Or maybe thinking they do, but it's like, but in what way? What are you talking about?
Yeah. Like I really learned about it like when I like came online and everything.
Like,
And like found like other people that were like kind of the same.
I feel like that is why so many people related to that, like to Bruno in Encanto.
Oh
The
yeah.
whole neighborhood, like, we don't talk about him. Like, you could relate that to like anything about like a family shame or like just something they don't talk about.
Yeah.
It's just like, I think that's why so many people related to Bruno. And it's fascinating.
Oh yeah. I've seen some like a lot of friends are like, Bruno is gender envy. And I was like, you're right.
Gender envy.
Yeah.
The gender of the day, envy.
Yeah.
Oh my god. So I realized I sidetracked when I was addressing chat earlier in what I was gonna say, and maybe this will be more for like more prominent in future episodes. But if y'all have questions for any of our guests, while we are doing this whole bit, feel free to, maybe I'll make like a channel points thing, like a small amount, be like, here's a question for the guest, and try to like bring it out so that way have like a Q&A section. I don't know why I didn't think of this earlier, but first episode madness.
Exactly.
But yeah, I want to give like a couple minutes, like if anybody in the live chat right now has any questions for SuperSeizer, throw them in. Be nice with your questions. Don't ask if we're single, because it's not your goddamn business.
No, that's not a good question.
Like, no. But I mean, like, anything about what the guest has talked about, or just any general questions, as I have to stop myself from being like general questions for anybody who's watched How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah.
I've been doing that for like days.
It's binge season. It's summer. It's time
Well,
to binge.
it's
I was
not
binging
because
like
it's not because I've been watching How I Met Your Mother. It's because of like the fair that I just worked. we made that reference. Me and like a couple of my castmates have made that reference, and now it's just like what lives in my head rent free is back and forth between stuff like that and Catbug from Bravest Warriors with the whole Rebecca saga. Like, marry me, Rebecca. No.
yeah.
It's like
Honestly, me with like the stuff down all the time.
yeah. Just is there and I guess like here's one I can throw in. What currently lives in your head rent free?
I think what currently lives in my head rent free is if you like the TikTok sound where it's like that was made by the Gregory brothers, where it's like based off of the Stranger Things, where it's like where it's Chrissy, wake up! I don't like this. Chrissy, wake up! I mean, it's like a whole song,
Oh
and it's just like
no.
on loop.
Oh, I gotta
Honestly, too. To be honest.
yeah, I gotta find that one now. And then that's gonna live in my head rent free.
Yeah, it's catchy.
Yeah. Does he catch I think yesterday what um because like my job and we Crazy Frog made like a reappearance for some reason. And then like it made me think of Vines and TikToks, and then maybe it's because like I was just playing chess with a kid, like an older kid, and just had that like come up of like, oh, I brought you frankincense, Thinky. I brought you gold, oh, Thinky. I brought you myrrh, murder, Judas, no,
Judas.
and then that also just started like a whole train of like, I have 69 cents. Hey, you know what that means? I don't have money for chicken nuggets.
Yeah.
It's like, oh god,
Honestly, I can
brain.
go for chicken nuggets. What the hell?
Don't start, brain. Alright, so this is the last call for anybody who would like to ask questions. Just gonna give it a sec. And then you have that where it's like, any questions about this thing? I have a question. How are you today? Because I'm that. Because me and some of my friends are that asshole. Also because it's funny.
You know, so true.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think this is I guess speaking of being that asshole, I guess this is a good part to like end here for this episode. Is there any self-promotion you would like to do, or just any promotion of anything before we sign out?
Promotion of anything?
Anything you
Bro,
want. It could be your stuff, it
I
could be somebody else's stuff.
Oh my god. Have you heard of McDonald's?
What about McDonald's?
They got chicken nuggets. But do you know who has better chicken nuggets? Me. Because I decided to put dinosaur chicken nuggets on a shirt, and it was fantastic.
Oh my god.
Anyway, that's it. Anyway.
Like, as a design, or just you just
promote.
splattered chicken nuggets on you?
Oh, yeah.
Or is it like a t-shirt design, or did you just like take dinosaur chicken nuggets and just smush them all over your shirt?
Oh, it's a t-shirt design. I think the shipping would be an issue if it was like actual chicken nuggets. I sewed in actual chicken nuggets.
Yeah, just like have those there, or just like make polymer clay like chicken nuggets. It's
It'd be
just
interesting
like,
to wash in the washing machine.
yeah, right? Oh my god. Let me check one last thing, because it's like, we gotta raid somebody. because I like to do that at the end of streams. But yeah, before, and I actually know exactly who we can raid. Super Antlers is live. We can go raid Super Antlers.
Oh my god, and
Yeah. So,
man.
yeah, Caesar, thank you for agreeing to be a part of this mess.
Of course, I really love the concept of it, so I
Yeah.
wanted to be a part of it.
I'm very happy that you could be a part of this, because I was like, that was some, like, out of people that I know or have at least met in some capacity, I was like, I feel like Caesar would be good for this. And you got to be the first one. It wasn't exactly planned that way, but it happened. We did
I was the first one.
You were the first. Yay! But yeah, we'll finish up here. Thank you everybody who came by to watch it live. Thank you for those of you who are watching the VOD or the after product. Yeah, we'll end here, and then we'll go raid Super Antlers, pass on the love to him as well, and also follow Caesar on your, how do we follow you on your socials?
They're just SuperSeizer on pretty much like Twitch and Twitter, and on Instagram there's like an underscore in the middle, but it's okay.
Yeah, like if they go to your Twitch, they'll be able to find all your socials, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and yeah, let me actually test it out one more time. I made a command to like give at least your Twitch. But yeah, go to SuperSeiser's Twitch, follow her. She makes fun content. It's very cool. You're gonna have a great time. It'll be a chaotic time, but it's a really fun chaotic time. And I mean that in like all the nicest ways possible.
Well, thank you for having me on.
Of course. Yeah, so thank you everybody who came by. Thank you to SuperSeizer for being here. And we'll be back with another episode sometime in the near future.